Hello everyone again. In the previous video we talked about different types of aggression because you asked me several times what we should do if a dog attacks us. To do this, as I said in the previous video, we have to identify what kind of aggression it is and act accordingly. So, we're going to go through each type of aggression and see what we need to do. In general, there are two things you need to do. One, try to prevent the attack, and if there's no option, know what to do in case we get attacked. So, let's go for the first one, maternal aggression. Remember that maternal aggression is the aggression that female dogs show when you try to get close to them and they have puppies. Well, this type of aggression usually doesn't involve a direct attack on a person unless you've gotten too close. So the best way is to avoid the attack. How do we avoid the attack? Not bothering the mom. It's that easy. It may seem silly, but it's that easy. Another thing is if we want to address that type of aggression, but that's not the purpose of this video, okay? The purpose of this video is to explain what we should do in case we get attacked. Well, in the case of maternal aggression, as I said, we simply won't get close to dogs that have puppies, especially if they're showing you, remember the signs of aggression. They're telling you not to approach, don't get close. If you still ignore it and it comes closer, the bite you're going to get from the dog is just a bite, and then it will go back to protecting the puppies, okay? You won't have time to do anything at all, maybe just to back away a bit, and that's about it. In terms of protection, it's exactly the same. After all, protection and motherhood are pretty much the same thing. But if they're protecting an owner, we simply don't get close. And that's it. There's nothing else to do. Pain aggression. Well, pain aggression, remember, is when the dog is hurting in some part of its body and it doesn't want you to touch that part. So what we're going to do is not touch it. If we see that we're about to lift a paw and it growls at you, it's probably because it's hurting somewhere, okay? It could also be due to dominance, but well, that's another topic. Next one. So, if we lift one paw and it hurts, and we lift the other and it doesn't bother him, well, let's first try not to lift that paw because we're hurting him. And second, take him to the vet to take care of him. There's not going to be a huge danger to our life here either. You might just get a bite because you've hurt the dog. And now we come to the three most dangerous ones, the three most important. Dominance aggression. Have you seen dogs? So you can't get close to the owner because they might bite you. What you need to do is not approach the owner. So it's actually quite simple, pretty logical. Might seem like I'm joking, but it's true. If you're going to approach an owner and the dog shows its teeth, don't get close. There's no need for that. What the owner really needs is to address that dog and the dominance issue, because in the end, that dominance problem is about possession, because it really is possession. I mean, the owner is not his friend, he's not his dad. To him, the owner is his possession, okay? And since it's my possession, I don't want you to get close to him, because if you do, I'll bite you. That's the dog's blank mind. So we shouldn't leave the dog in that state. First, we need to build a bond and, well, a series of things that we'll explain when we tackle the dominance issue in depth. In our case, in approaching a dog that has dominance, the first thing to do is to just leave it alone. And that's it. There are dominant dogs that are also related to territoriality. And that's when we get more serious. When you enter the dog's territory, the dog is going to show signs of aggression because you are a stranger and possibly a threat to him. But what is the dog's territory?
Is it the place where he lives?
Is it the area where he lives? In fact, the dog's territory is the place where he lives and all the places he walks around, where he patrols. All of that is the dog's territory. So, if you come across a stray dog or a non-stray dog that is very territorial, which has escaped from its house or something, the first thing the dog is going to do is stay very still and look at you. Remember, But, well, we need to try to discard the rest. Clearly, he's not protecting anything. He's not a person with a puppy. So dominance has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's not about dominance. Dominance is a relationship between individuals. And there, well, you just encountered him. You don't have to dominate him. It's aggression due to territoriality. That's what it is. Well, as we said, the first thing we're going to try is to make sure it doesn't attack us. Prevention. You can't run at any moment because aggressiveness can switch from one type to another in a matter of seconds. So it can switch from territorial aggression to predatory aggression, and that's when we're in trouble. So if we run, we automatically become prey. We become prey, and it triggers their hunting instinct, and they'll try to catch you, which involves the act of hunting. Hunting isn't a game. Hunting is about going after you, catching you, and killing you, okay? It's the ultimate goal of hunting. So what we're going to do is run. We're going to try to look around to see if we can use something in case of an attack. Let's see if there's a wall we can climb, or a tree, or a house nearby where we can get inside. I said not to run, but well, if I'm here and there's a door right here, then I can just go and get inside before dog attacks. So that's another option, okay? Let's try to see if we can find a stick, a stone, something to defend ourselves with, etc. Many times, in many cases, it all depends a lot on what kind of dog it is. There are very confident dogs and very insecure dogs. So depending on what kind of dog it is, there are many dogs that just the act of bending down and pretending to pick up a stone is enough to make the dog leave. And that's when you can calmly walk away. Not running, remember? Walk calmly, okay? Another option is to never turn your back on the dog. Or turn your back on the dog, okay? We're always going to keep our body facing him. We're always going to try to keep our fists closed, because if we get attacked, our fingers are super fragile. About 90% of the bites I've gotten from dogs have been on my fingers, okay? So keep your fingers safe to not lose them, and keep your hand up for two reasons. First, because if your hand is up, first thing the dog sees is your hand, so it's protected. And second, in case I need to defend myself, I'm ready. It's like self-defense, and we're going to calmly back away. And second, in case I have to defend myself, I'm on guard. It's like self-defense, and we're going to calmly back away. If we see that the dog turns that way, never going to lose sight of its face, okay? One thing is that we're facing the dog head on, and another thing is that we're staring at it. In the following video, we are going to talk about calming signals. If we know how to give calming signals to the dog, maybe it will calm down and we can avoid an attack. I'm always going to say maybe because I insist. It really depends a lot on what kind of dog it is. If it's a very strong dog, if it's an insecure dog, etc. If it's a big dog, if it's a smaller dog, okay, etc. If it's a big dog, if it's a smaller dog, okay. So I'm giving a lot of tips. A lot of little pieces of advice that, well, if you ever find yourself needing to use them, just try to use all of that. If you have a stick in your hand or you manage to get a stick or a branch, hitting the ground is also important. But the most important thing is your attitude and staying calm. Okay, I always give an example. Look, calmness is a super important weapon. Can you imagine a situation? Okay, let's imagine we're in a nightclub and there's a guy who wants to fight us. Let's suppose two scenarios. Imagine the typical guy who's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to get you, and I'm going to kill you. Who would scare you more? That guy? One who's like that and says, let's go outside. I'm going to kill you. Obviously the second one, at least for me, is way scarier than the first. The first one looks way too nervous. He's probably trying to intimidate me. But the other one is really confident. If he's that confident, there's a reason for it. Okay. So it's the same with dogs. Dogs are way more intuitive than we are. Like way more. So if the person is calm, dog is going to think, wow, maybe it's not a good idea to attack this one, okay? As I said before, calming signals also include yawning. Now, have you all yawned? Try licking your lips. These are things that dogs do with each other to give calming signals. Don't look directly at it, don't lose sight of the dog, but act like it's not there. Am I looking over there, you see? Right now, I'm looking at the screen, but I'm not really staring or looking directly. I'm just glancing out of the corner of my eye. Well, it's the same, okay? So, it's about staying calm, looking for something to grab, trying to pick up a stone or a stick, and not looking directly at it, just yawning and being chill. Is that the summary? Okay. Let's suppose that these techniques to try to avoid the attack haven't worked. And for whatever reason, the dog attacks you. Well, you need to know that at that moment, you're fighting for your life. And I'll put it to you this way. The moment a dog attacks you, you're fighting for your life. Forget about the poor little dog. Forget about animal rights. Forget about feeling sorry. And why feel sorry? Because it's either the dog or you. And I'm saying it like that, okay? Especially when we're talking about territorial aggression. Remember, it's not the same as that little puppy that's going to give you a little bite. That one will just come back after you've said, don't come near, and that's it. Am I talking about territorial behavior? Okay. You're in a street, in an open area, wherever there's a dog, you've done all the things, you're trying to avoid the attack, but you haven't succeeded, and the dog lunges at you. Well, if it's a small dog, then it's easy to handle, but I just try to think of the worst case scenario, which is the dangerous part. A big dog, a Rottweiler, a Pit Bull, an American Staffordshire, a Doberman. A mixed breed. A dog that weighs more than 20 or 25 kilos can easily kill you, and even less if it's skilled. It can definitely kill you, okay? So, the moment it attacks you, unless it's an attack meant to drive you away, which usually involves it running at you, biting you, and then backing off, biting you again, and turning its back on you. Those are usually attacks, I'm telling you, meant to drive you away. But the problem is that many times we behave like prey. Because if it's going to bite us, we start flailing around, we move, we get nervous, and we end up becoming prey. And the moment we become prey, there's a danger to our life. So, in that case, you need to try to hit the sensitive spots on the dog, which are the eyes, the ears, the snout, the stomach. I mean, what's down here, the lower belly. If you give it a good kick there, it'll knock the wind out of the dog. That's it. And the moment we have it somewhat under control, should try to get away as soon as possible. And I tell you, at the moment it attacks us, it's a fight for our life. It's a fight for our life. I've said it like 10 times already, but I'll say it again. It's a fight for our life. So, well, in the other video, I wanted to include some images from videos that you can find on YouTube, because I'm not going to put them in this channel since they're really unpleasant. Well, but we're talking about a dog here. But if a pack attacks me, and if 5 or 6 dogs attack me, we're in trouble. If we don't ask for help, we're in trouble. The first thing we're going to do is shout for help with all our might, okay? Let a lot of people come. When a lot of people come, the dogs usually leave, okay? They bite a few times and then leave. But if we're alone, we're in a lot of trouble because dogs hunt in packs. So, one is going to bite your arm, another is going to bite your leg, and another is going to try to go for your head. Always protect the sensitive parts, okay? The head, okay? Is that okay? So they don't bite your neck, so they don't bite your face, etc. Okay? Better for them to bite your arms because those can be stitched up, and that's it. And that's about it. Try to escape as soon as possible. Try to get help, okay? So that people come with sticks and such and can get the dogs off of you. And then, immediately after, go to the doctor to treat your wounds, give you a tetanus injection, because it is possible that it is anti-rabies. Because perhaps those dogs are on the street. Well, they are not even vaccinated against rabies. They could have rabies. And try to locate the owners. If they are stray dogs, they don't have an owner, but if they are dogs that have escaped, the owner is responsible for that attack, and those owners need to be reported to the authorities so that they can take the appropriate measures. I don't know if this has helped at all. I've tried to make it as useful as possible. And well, if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave them in the comment. If you really like this video, you know what to do. Give it a like or subscribe and hit the bell. And if you want to share it, maybe we can save a life. A hug and see you in the next video. If you really like this video, you know what to do. Give it a like or subscribe and hit the bell. And if you want to share it, we might just save a life. A hug and see you in the next video.